Okay, hello everyone. Welcome sa isa na namang lecture, this time psychometrics tayo. Pag-aaralan natin yung convergent and discriminant validity. So sana makatulong to for those of you who are preparing for the board exams. Kasi marami mga students nagre-request sa akin na gawa raw ako ng lecture dito kasi nahihirapan silang intindihin, no? So pasisimplihin natin 'yan in this lecture. Key passage natin ngayon is from John chapter 13 verses 34 to 35. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. So mamaya, as we go along, pag-uusapan natin yan in connection to convergent and discriminant validity. Unahin natin, ano bang ibig sabihin ng convergent validity? This is a method of validating a psychological test. So kapag hinahanapan mo ng validity ang psychological test, isang option na gagamitin is convergent validity. For those of you who are reviewing, alam nyo na ibig sabihin ng validity, chine-check natin kung yung psychological test mini-measure niya yung kiniklaim niyang mini-measure niya. Kung ang IQ test, nagme-measure nga ba siya ng IQ? Or ang isang depression scale, nagme-measure nga ba talaga siya ng depression? If that's the question you want to answer about a test, validity yon. Okay, so again, sa convergent validity, ang ginagawa natin, ituloy natin, no? Method of validating a psychological test that involves, ito na, correlating the constructed test, ito yung ginagawa mong test, ito yung dinedevelop mo, to an established test with a related construct. Established here means the second test na gagamitin mo is valid na, reliable na, nasa market na, ginagamit na in different industries. Kaya kapag gagamit ka ng convergent validity, talagang bibili ka ng isa pang test, gagastos ka dito. Saan mo gagamitin yung test na yon? Pang-validate kung yung ginagawa mong test really does measure the construct na mini-measure niya. Kaya kung gagamit kayo ng convergent validity, dapat meron kayong pambili, panggastos ng isa pang established test. Pero yung established test na yon, according to the definition, meron siyang related construct. So yung construct nung pangalawang test na gagamitin mo, may connection sa construct ng test na ginagawa mo. As you can see here on the diagram. Yung ginagawa mong test, bilog na red. Yung pangalawang test, the established test na bibilhin mo, bilog na orange. Pareho silang bilog, pero magkaibang kulay because they are related to each other. Not exactly the same, but they are related to each other. One example of that would be, let's say, yung ginagawa mong test is optimism. The established test na bibilhin mo is a test on happiness. Again, yung test dito on happiness is already valid, reliable, ginagamit na ng mga professionals in different industries. Another example would be kung ang ginagawa mong test is on neuroticism, tapos yung established test na gagamitin mo to validate the test is on general anxiety. Ayan. So, related constructs yan. Now, students will ask, paano nyo po malalaman kung yung test na gagamitin nyo dito has a related construct to the test that I am constructing? Paano mo malalaman na kung ano yung mga constructs dito na related dito? Ang sagot dyan, review of related literature. Kaya ang lesson dito mahalaga na kapag nagko-construct ka ng test mo, talagang in-exhaust mo, halos binasa mo lahat ng article tungkol doon sa construct ng test na ginagawa mo. Because if you review the literature, isa yan sa mga bagay na malalaman mo about the test that you are constructing. Ano ba yung mga constructs out there that are related to your test construct? O nga pala, para sa mga hindi familiar, when I say construct, simple lang yan. Ibig sabihin lang ng test construct, ito yung mini-measure ng test. Alright? So again, kung gusto mong malaman kung ano bang mga constructs yung related doon sa construct ng test na ginagawa mo, review of literature will help you identify those constructs. As you can see here in the diagram, di ba? Anong mga constructs ang related sa construct ng test mo? Para malaman mo yan, para masagot mo yung question na yan, magbasa ka ng review of literature. Para malaman mo kung anong mga established test yung pwede mong bilhin to validate your test using convergent validity. So, punta tayo sa isang case na gagamit ng convergent validity. Ayan. So, medyo malaki, no? I-resize natin para makita nyo yung buong case. Yan, i-resize natin. Paliitin natin. Yan. Okay. So, basahin nyo tong case. I-zoom in natin. You have constructed a psychological test that measures optimism. The following are the key details about optimism that you have read from the literature. Yan yung sinasabi ko. So, habang ginagawa mo yung test on optimism, dapat nagbabasa ka ng literature on optimism. So, anong nalaman mo? Nung nagbasa ka ng literature number 1, optimism has nothing to do with age. Kahit anong age mo, pwedeng mataas or mababa ang optimism mo. So, age does not predict level of optimism. And number 2, optimism is strongly related with happiness. So, what would you do to prove that your test is indeed really measuring optimism? In other words, ano ang pwede natin gawin para patunayan na talagang optimism nga yung sinusukat ng test na ginagawa mo gamit ang convergent validity. Okay? So, ito ang steps dyan. Step 1, hahanap ka ng established test that is strongly related to your test construct. Ano ba yung test construct natin? Optimism. Ang tanong, ano ngayon ang established test na bibilhin mo? Kasi yung established test na yon, yung construct niya, related doon sa construct mo, which is on optimism. Kung babalik ka doon sa case, focus dito sa number 2, optimism is strongly correlated with happiness. So, ito ngayon ang magbibigay sa iyo ng clue kung ano yung established test na bibilhin mo. Sabi kasi sa literature, ang optimism, very related to happiness. Therefore, ang bibilhin mong established test is on happiness. Hanap ka ngayon ng scale na nasa market na, highly valid na, highly reliable na. Bilhin mo yon kasi yan yung test na gagamitin mo to prove that your test is really measuring optimism. And then after you do, kapag nabili mo na yung test na yan, proceed to step 2. Hanap ka ngayon ng population na kukuha ng dalawang test na yon on optimism and happiness. So, administer those 2 tests in step 3. And then step 4, kunin mo yung scores ng mga tao from those 2 different tests. So, if you can follow my line of thinking, bawat isang tao dito sa population, magkakaroon ng dalawang scores. Meron siyang score sa optimism, meron siyang score sa happiness. So, kapag i-encode mo yan sa Jamovie, ganyan ang itsura niyan. Dalawang columns. First column is on optimism scores. Second column is on happiness scores. And then, at the end of the day, anong gagawin mo sa dalawang columns na yan? You are going to correlate optimism scores with happiness scores. And then, aabangan natin yung correlation coefficient. That will determine if your test really measures optimism or not. Kung meron nga bang convergent validity yung test mo or wala. O nga pala, no, before we move on to the next slide, kaya siya tinawag na convergent from the word converge. Ibig sabihin, they go in the same direction. Diba? So, going back to the definition of convergent validity, ang ini-expect nating relationship between these 2 variables, convergent. They go in the same direction. So, dapat yung relationship nila, kapag kinorelate mo yan, more or less nasa moderate to strong relationship. Kung tumataas to, dapat tumataas din yan. Kung bumababa to, dapat bumababa din yan because again, they converge in one direction. Nagigets nyo? So, going back, ito yung proseso na ginawa natin. In-encode natin yung mga scores from those 2 tests and then kinorelate natin. These are the possible outcomes. So, nasaan sa mga outcomes dito na masasabi mo na yung test mo is valid? Number 1. Kasi number 1, kapag yung correlation coefficient mo, positive and strong, nag-converge sila. merong convergent validity. Yung optimism test mo sa happiness scores, which is exactly what you saw from the review of literature. So, ang conclusion natin dito, the constructed test is valid, but, meron akong malaking but dito, but, dapat, hindi masyadong mataas yung correlation between your test and the other test. Although maganda na strong yung relationship, positive yung relationship, hindi naman dapat na sobrang taas like yung relationship nila is 0.98 or 0.99. Bakit? Kasi kapag ang correlation ng optimism and happiness in this procedure is at around 0.98 to 0.99, masyado ng close sa 1, what does that tell you? Baka yung test mo is not measuring optimism but happiness. That tells you na may posibilidad na yung dinevelop mong test, for all you know, happiness pala yung sinusukat at hindi optimism. Kasi halos close na sa 1 yung correlation sa happiness. So baka yung mga items mo, sobrang kapareho na ng mga happiness items which will question the convergent validity of your test. So ang gusto nating makita dito is around moderate and strong ang relationship. Pwede rin namang pwede namang strong pero wag lang yung 0.98 to 0.99. Siguro pwede na yung 0.80 to 0.85 hanggang sa 0.89. Pero pag sobrang close na sa 1 yan, baka yung optimism scale mo, happiness scale pala. Number 2, if the correlation is negative and strong, hindi siya valid. Kasi ang sabi sa literature, they should converge in the same direction. The fact na negative ito, inverse ang relationship, they are not converging in the same direction. Pag negative and strong yan, ang ibig sabihin, as happiness goes up, yung optimism scores mo goes down. And vice versa. If your optimism scores go up, the happiness scores go down. So they're not converging in the same direction. Hindi valid yung optimism score mo o yung optimism scale mo. Number 3, lalo na if the correlation is weak, that will make you conclude na hindi valid, walang convergent validity yung optimism scale mo. Kasi ang sabi sa literature, nagko-converge nga yung optimism and happiness They go in the same direction. They are related to each other. Pag ito yung nakita mo, ibig sabihin walang kinalaman yung optimism scale mo sa happiness scale mo, therefore, hindi siya valid. Ayun. So, ganyan ginagawa ang convergent validity. One last example. Halimbawa, gumawa ka ng scale, self-constructed, ang construct mo is suicide ideation scale. Tanong, ano ang possible constructs na pwede mong gamitin, related construct, para ma-confirm mo na itong scale mo, ang minimeasure nga niya is suicide ideation scale. Anong gagawin? Magbabasa ka ng review of literature that will give you a clue kung ano ba yung mga constructs na related doon sa construct mo. Now, fast forward, you came up with this article. Nakita mo to, binasa mo yung article, doon sa instruments part of this article, ang sabi, i-zoom in natin, merong ginamit na scale sa study na to, ang pangalan SIS, Suicide Ideation Scale. At sinabi dito that SIS scores were positively correlated with depressive symptoms and hopelessness scores. So, dyan pa lang meron ka ng clue kung ano yung mga related constructs na pwede mong gamitin to validate your self-constructed suicide ideation scale. So, ano yun? Ano yung mga related constructs na pwede natin gamitin? That would be test na ang construct niya is depression, tama ba? Depression and hopelessness. So, hanap ka ng mga tests established na ang construct niya is depression and hopelessness, such as the following. Yan. So, pwede mong gamitin yung Beck's Depression Inventory or Hamilton Depression Rating Scale. Pili ka lang ng isa dyan. Pwede kang gumamit ng General Hopelessness Scale or ng Beck Hopelessness Scale. Pili ka lang ng isa dyan. Paano natin nalaman na yan yung mga constructs na related doon sa self-constructed scale natin? Because we have read the literature. Now, going back to convergent validity, meron pang isang approach itong procedure na to which is more highly recommended by psychometricians, no? Wherein, ang ginagawa natin in this approach, hahanap tayo ng isa pang established test but this time, yung construct na gagamitin natin is exactly the same as the test that we are constructing. So kung halimbawa, gumagawa ka ng test on suicide ideation scale, ano ngayon yung isa pang established test na gagamitin mo to validate this test? Hanap ka ng isa pang established test na eksaktong ganun din yung construct na ginagamit. In this case, hanap ka ng established test on suicide ideation scale. Remember a while ago, baka nalimutan nyo na, no? Yung ginawa natin is related lang. Kaya nga red and orange yan. Pero pareho silang bilog kasi itong pangalawang test, related construct lang. They are not exactly the same. Itong sinasabi ko ngayong procedure is eksaktong-eksakto, parehong-pareho ng construct. So, gumagawa ka ng test on suicide ideation scale, gumamit ka ng isa pang test na established na on suicide ideation scale na i-validate para ma-validate itong test mo na to. Now, if you can follow my line of thinking, meron kayong weird na dapat ma-sense dito. Ano yung weird dito sa approach na to? Meron na palang test na nagme-measure ng suicide ideation such as this one. So, ang tanong, bakit pa tayo nagkakaroon ng ganitong proseso wherein gumagawa ka pa ng isang test na ganun din yung construct? Nagigets nyo? Bakit hindi na lang gamitin to? At gagawa pa tayo ng isang test na yun din naman pala yung construct. Meron na palang established test for that. That's a good question, no? So, ang sagot sa tanong na yan is ganito. Minsan, gumagawa tayo ng mga psychological test na meron ng ganong construct ng test in the market kasi maybe number one, we want to make a shorter version of the established test. Halimbawa, going back to this example, siguro itong suicide ideation attribute scale na to, masyadong mahaba, masyadong maraming items. Maraming tao tinatamad na sagutan itong test na to. So what we do is to overcome that problem, mag-develop tayo ng isang test, yun din yung construct, it's just that this is a shorter version. Ito 100 items, ito 10 items lang. Got that? Number 2, bakit tayo gumagawa ng isa pang test na ganun din ang construct? Kasi maybe you are doing a cheaper version of this test. Siguro maraming mga tao na mamahalan dito. No, masyadong mahal. Siguro isang set nito, let's say 5,000. Gusto mong i-kompetensya to, 'di ba? Gusto mo meron ding test ang mga tao na ito ang mini-measure pero mas mura. So gagawa ka ng isang test, ganito din yung construct, pero ito 1,500 lang. O 'di ba? So when people will hear of this test, ganun din naman yung sinusukat, napatunayan din namang valid and reliable din, may convergent validity doon sa nakasanayang test na mas mahal, at nalaman nilang mas mura to, dito na sila pupunta, ito na yung bibilhin nilang test. And number 3, another reason why we're doing this is maybe we want to develop a local version of this test. Kasi itong suicide ideation attribute scale, for all you know, dinevelop ito sa Amerika. Dinevelop ito ng mga psychology sa Alabama. Sabi sa literature, yung suicide ideation scale, yung suicide ideation, iba sa mga Asians. Iba yung mga indicators na merong suicide ideation ng isang tao among Asians compared to Americans, compared to people in Alabama. So anong gagawin mo? Gusto mo mag-develop ng isang scale na yung items dito pang Pilipino, pang Asians. Pero pareho din ng construct, suicide ideation. Alright? So gagawa ka ngayon ng local version ng American version nito. That's another reason why we are doing this procedure. Maliwanag. Okay, now, the thing is, ito, isa pa palang example. Gumagawa ka ng test on IQ. Diba? Sorry, hindi pala. Ang established test on IQ test, na sikat, Stanford Binet Intelligence Test. Yun yung established. Kaya lang, ang definition ng intelligence, according to your readings, it differs from culture to culture. So, itong Stanford Binet Intelligence Test is measuring intelligence based on American concept of intelligence. At may problema tayo dyan because sabi nga ng literature, iba-iba ang pananaw ng tao sa intelligence depende sa kultura. So, Gumawa ka ngayon ng self-constructed IQ test na magkokompetensya dito sa Stanford Binet Intelligence Test. Ano ang kakaiba sa test na ginagawa mo dito? Anong kakaiba sa Mang Tomas? Panukat ng katalinuhan. The way intelligence is measured here is based on the Filipino culture. Iba kasi ang pananaw ng mga Amerikano sa intelligence kumpara sa pananaw ng mga Pilipino on intelligence. So, ang ginawa mo dito, nag-develop ka ng mga items on intelligence that are more consistent with how Filipinos see intelligence. Kaya ka gumawa ng isa pang test dito na eksaktong-eksakto lang ang construct dito sa established test on intelligence. Alright? So, yun yung different reasons why we are doing this procedure. Alright? Now, in this case, balik tayo sa mga possible outcomes. So, kapag in-administer mo na yung dalawang yan sa population, and then kinuha mo yung scores nila at kinorelate mo, going back to number 1, this time, ang gusto mong makita is the higher the better. Kapag ang correlation between those two tests very close to 1, dyan tayo masaya because it proves na meron ngang convergent validity itong self-constructed test mo. So, kapag ang correlation coefficient ng scores mo dito is like positive 0.98 or positive 0.99, masaya tayo dyan. Because that tells us na yung self-constructed test natin is almost the equivalent of the very well-respected and established Stanford Binet Intelligence Test. Diba? So, kapag related construct lang, not exactly the same, hindi maganda na masyadong mataas to. Pero kapag ganito yung approach na ginagamit mo, exactly the same construct, you would like to see a correlation coefficient as high as possible, as much as possible, very close to perfect 1 correlation. Okay? Ano ngayon ang kinalaman ng Bible verse natin kanina sa convergent validity? In fact, kapag binasa mo tong passage, pwede mong itest yung convergent validity. Let's say, for example, kung gagawa ka ng love for God scale. Diba? Ang sinasabi kasi nung passage dito is merong strong correlation na co-converge yung dalawang variables dito, yung love for God and love for others. Lalong-lalo na yung verse 35. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples. Disciples means those people who love God. Those people who are imitating the ways of Christ. Paano mo malalaman na genuine, na valid Christian sila if they have love for other people? So, may convergent validity yung love for God mo kung mahal mo yung ibang tao. Hindi pwedeng sinasabi mong love mo ang Diyos, pero wala kang pagmamahal sa ibang tao. The convergent validity of love for God is love for others, they go together. So, paano mo malalaman na ang isang tao talagang genuine, valid yung love for God niya kapag nakikita mo sa buhay niya na meron siyang love for other people? Pinapakita ng passage na to yung idea ng convergent validity. Okay? Ngayon, punta naman tayo doon sa counterpart ng convergent validity, which is discriminant validity. Now, this procedure, kabaliktaran ng convergent. Kino-correlate natin yung self-constructed test natin sa isang established test. This time, meron siyang unrelated construct. Ang gusto nating patunayan dito is our established test walang kinalaman sa isa pang established test na unrelated sa self-constructed test natin. The keyword here is different from the word discriminant or discriminate. Magkaiba. Pinapatunayan mo na yung test mo is not the same, is different from another established test. Paano to ginagawa? Yung procedures of discriminant validity. Step 1. Paggawa mo ng self-constructed test mo, hanap ka ngayon ng established test, valid na, reliable na, ginagamit na sa market, but this time, unrelated, malayo doon sa construct nung test mo. Halimbawa, gumawa ka ng self-constructed optimism scale. Ano ang isang construct na malayong-malayo, halos walang kinalaman doon sa optimism? Ang sagot, one possible construct would be religiosity. Paano mo nalaman na religiosity? Walang kinalaman doon sa optimism, again, when you study the literature. Kasi nakita mo sa literature, hindi binabanggit na ang optimism may connection sa religiosity. So, lahat ng psychological variables na hindi mo nakitang binanggit doon sa literature, pwede mong iselect yon as the construct na gagamitin mo for discriminant validity. Basta hindi siya binanggit sa literature or directly binanggit na hindi related yung construct na yon sa construct ng test mo, pwede mong gamitin yan for discriminant validity. So, let's say, ginawa natin yan at religiosity yung napili natin, we proceed to step 2. Now, we administer those 2 tests to the same population. So, bawat isa sa population na yan magkakaroon ng 2 scores. So, gagamit ka na naman ng 2 columns dyan. Column 1, optimism scores. Column 2, religiosity scores. And then, at the end of the day, you are going to correlate those 2 columns. So, mag-iiba ngayon yung ine-expect nating mga possible outcomes to prove that our test is valid. Kapag ang correlation mo is positive and strong between those 2 supposedly unrelated tests, obvious ba, ang test mo hindi valid. Kasi ang ine-expect mo nga dito, wala silang kinalaman sa isa't isa. Walang kinalaman ng optimism sa religiosity. The fact na nung kinorelate mo, positive and strong, ang sabi, o ang conclusion mo dyan, baka yung optimism scale mo, hindi talaga siya optimism scale, baka religiosity scale talaga siya. That's bad news. That tells you na yung test na ginawa mo is not measuring optimism, but something very close to religiosity. O, di ba? Number 2, kapag negative and strong ang output, ang correlation coefficient, invalid na naman yung test mo. Kasi, again, sa discriminant, gusto mong patunayan na hindi sila related. Yung number 2, it shows that they are related. Yun nga lang, negative ang relationship. As A goes up, B goes down. So, as optimism goes up, religiosity goes down. It's still a form of relationship, kahit negative pa yan. Diba? So, that means your test is not valid. Ang gusto nating makita is outcome number 3, kapag sinabi ng correlation mo, weak ang relationship. Like 0.12, 0.10, 0.08, because that tells you talagang walang kinalaman yung optimism and religiosity, and that's exactly what you saw from the literature. That proves na your optimism scale is not the same as the religiosity scale. So, napatunayan mo na yung optimism scale mo is not religiosity scale. Alright? So, yun yung idea ng discriminant validity. No? Kapag mababa ang correlation ng 2 test na yan, it proves that your self-constructed test, in this example, optimism, is not a test on religiosity. Now, a lot of students ask me, when I discuss convergent and discriminant validity, between those 2 procedures, ano ang mas ginagawa? Ano ang mas priority ng mga test developers? Ang sagot dyan is convergent validity. Kumbaga, if you have an option doon sa dalawa, ano ang mas ipaprioritize mong gagamitin na procedure, you go convergent than discriminant. And the question is why? May reason yan. Kasi, mas matibay na validity procedure or mas matibay na ebidensya that your test is measuring what it claims to measure kapag na-establish yun ng convergent validity more than discriminant validity. Let me explain why. No? Halimbawa, tignan nyo yung logic ng discriminant validity. Balik tayo sa example natin, self-constructed optimism scale, kinorelate natin sa religiosity. Sabi sa literature, walang kinalaman ng isa't isa. So, kinuha mo yung score sa dalawang yan, kinorelate mo, and the correlation is weak. What does that tell you? It tells you that your optimism scale is not religiosity scale. Yes, your test is not religiosity, but it does not follow that your test is confirmed to measure optimism. Gets nyo? Yun yung logic ng discriminant validity. Ang napatunayan nyo lang dito, itong test na to is not religiosity. But it does not entirely prove that this test really measures optimism. Hindi lang siya religiosity, pero hindi pa rin tayo sure kung optimism nga ang mini-measure niyan. Unlike kapag nag-convergent validity ka, tapos ginamit mo yung exactly the same procedure. Ang self-constructed test mo, optimism. Yung binili mong test na established na optimism din, tapos nung kinorelate mo yung dalawa, direct and strong. What does that tell you? It's confirmed that your test really does measure optimism. Diba? Mas matibay na ebidensya yan na itong test mo na to, optimism nga ang mini-measure. Sa discriminant validity, meron ka pang duda eh. Although partially it's confirmed that it's not religiousness, good news yan, pero hindi pa rin tayo sigurado kung optimism nga ba yung mini-measure ng test mo. Ang magandang analogy dito, no? Alin sa dalawang objects na to na kapag binigay sa isang tao, mas confirmed na mahal siya nung tao na nagbigay niyan? Option 1, hamburger. Yumburger. Oh. So si lalaki, binigyan niya ng yumburger yung babae. Tingin nyo yung lalaki, mahal niya yung babae? Pwede. Pero, pwedeng may pagdududa pa. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi ganun katibay na ebidensya na ang isang tao mahal niya yung isa pang tao sa pagbibigay ng hamburger. Pero kung ang binigay ng lalaki doon sa babaeng yon is an engagement ring, tapos lumuhod siya, tinatanong niya yung babae kung pwede ba siyang maging asawa niya, mas sureball yon na yung lalaki, mahal niya talaga yung babae. Mas matibay na ebidensya ang engagement ring sa pagmamahal ng lalaki doon sa babae kumpara sa isang hamburger. Kasi ito, mabilis lang kainin yan eh. Mabilis, mas mura yan. Mabilis na makakuha yan sa Jollibee o sa McDo. Pero itong engagement ring, unang-una mahal yan, at pangalawa, ang ino-offer ng taong nagbibigay nito is buhay niya. Ito ang na-offer lang niya is 50 pesos. Ito ang na-offer niya is future niya with another person. Diba? So between these two, kapag ito ang binigay ng lalaki sa babae, mas matibay na ebidensya yan na ang pagmamahal niya doon sa babae tunay. Kumpara kung ang binigay lang niya ay isang hamburger. Nagigets nyo? Oh. Ngayon, i-connect ko yan sa convergent validity and discriminant validity. Parang yung engagement ring, convergent validity, etong hamburger is discriminant validity. Kaya going back between those two, ano ang mas pinaprioritize? Yung convergent validity. Now you understand why. So, saan ginagamit yung discriminant validity? Kung lagi nating last priority yan, in what situations ginagamit ang discriminant validity? Mahalaga ang discriminant validity for exploration of new psychological constructs. Halimbawa, ang isang researcher, meron siyang sinasabi na ang isang construct different from other existing constructs. Halimbawa, in-explore natin yung construct ng epal. Merong isang researcher gumawa ng scale na nagme-measure ng kaepalan. Tapos, let's say, example lang to, hypothetical, yung researcher na yon, ang claim niya, etong epal trait na ito is unique among Filipinos. Kakaiba, sa atin lang meron yan. Hindi ito nakakapture ng traditional Big 5 traits. Yun yung kiniklaim niya. Kaya nga, ang pinopropose niya in this study is, kailangan yung Big 5 traits gagawing Big 6 traits kapag ina-administer sa mga Pilipino. Kasi yung traditional Big 5 traits, hindi na-capture itong epal among Filipinos. Now, that's a very big claim to make. So, paano mo patutunayan na tama nga yung claim ng researcher na ito? So, gumawa siya ng epal scale, 10 items yan, hanap siya ng 5,000 Filipinos na sasagot ng epal scale, kasama na rin ng Big 5 personality test. Nabi-visualize nyo kung anong proseso ang ginagawa. So, in-administer niya yung epal scale sa 5,000, in-administer niya yung Big 5 test sa 5,000. For those of you who forgot, no, yung Big 5 test, ganyan ang itsura niyan. So, mahabang test yan, magkakaroon ka ng 5 different scores represented by the Big 5 traits, yung ocean. Openness, conscientiousness, agreeableness, extroversion, and neuroticism. O ngayon, kapag nakuha mo na lahat ng scores, so ilang variables yon? 6. No? Nakuha mo na yung mga scores niyan, nakuha mo na yung scores ng mga tao sa epal scale, Yung researcher na to, kung gagamit siya ng discriminant validity, i-correlate ngayon niya yan. I-correlate ngayon niya yung tawag dito, yung score dito ng EPAL sa bawat isa sa ocean dyan. Ngayon, kung totoo yung sinasabi niya na ang EPAL trait hindi na-capture ng ocean, ano dapat ang correlation between EPAL and the Big Five? Dapat lahat mabababa. Dapat lahat may discriminant validity. Dapat ang EPAL may discriminant validity against letter O. Ang EPAL may discriminant validity against letter C. Ang EPAL may discriminant validity against letter E, so on and so forth. Kasi kapag yan yung nakita natin, confirm na ang EPAL is different from O, EPAL is different from C, EPAL is different from E, different from A, different from N. Na ang implication nun is, totoo nga, merong na-miss out yung Big Five among Filipinos, kailangan natin isama ang EPAL dito. So, magiging ano na yan? Ocean E. Openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism, and EPAL. Yon. Kaya very useful talagang itong discriminant validity sa psikolohiyang Pilipino, especially kapag nag-validate tayo ng mga Filipino traits na kiniklaim natin ibang-iba sa mga Western traits. Ang isa pang topic na naiisip ko dito na pwedeng gamitan ng discriminant validity would be this one. Kapag ini-explore mo yung konsepto ng utang na loob at gusto mong patunayan na yung utang na loob iba sa debt of gratitude sa Amerika. Kasi sa literature may mga nagsasabi pareho lang daw yung debt of gratitude sa utang na loob. But if you read the literature on utang na loob, ang mga ama ng psikolohiyang Pilipino, ang sinasabi nila iba yan. Merong unique features ang utang na loob na hindi nag-e-exist sa American debt of gratitude. O para patunayan mo na iba nga ang utang na loob sa debt of gratitude, gawa ka ng scale on utang na loob, hanap ka ng established scale on debt of gratitude, i-correlate mo, hanapan mo ng discriminant validity. Paano mo malalaman na may discriminant validity nga between utang na loob and debt of gratitude kapag mababa ang correlation coefficient? Because that will prove na iba talaga ang utang na loob sa debt of gratitude. Iba, magkaiba sila. So, more or less, that will justify, that will prove na talagang uniquely Filipino ang utang na loob compared sa Western debt of gratitude. Alright? So, yun ang lecture natin between convergent and discriminant validity. Sana nakatulong to sa pagre-review nyo. If you have any questions or comment, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba. Or kung meron kayong suggestion na topics, ilagay nyo lang dyan. Gagawa natin ng lecture yan. Sir Howard here. Hanggang sa susunod na lecture. God bless everyone.